Yo, what's up squad? PinoE here, and for today there wasn't a whole lot of news I could cover, so I'm gonna bring you all something a little different. Here's a look at the 15 biggest sneaker fails and controversies of all time, and if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and join the squad, and for the rest of you, smash that like button. Now let's take a look at what happens when you launch a shoe or an ad campaign before thinking. When you take a look at this Nike SB Dunk, the first thing that pops into most people's heads is Heineken, and this Heineken Dunk is one of the best dunks of all time, but you see there was a problem. Before you go on and use other companies' logos or create a tribute shoe in their likeness, it's always best to first check with that company. In this case, Nike missed that step. Heineken was less than thrilled, to say the least, and Nike got into a little bit of legal trouble, causing them to halt the sale of the shoe. This is a grail to many, no doubt, one of the best, and there's rumored to only be 4,000 in existence. Next up, we got Skechers, and this won't be their only entry in this list. What you're looking at up on screen is their Daddy's Money ad campaign. Now, before we go any further, let's check out one of their commercials. Now, what could possibly go wrong with this idea, right? First, let's look at the name of the shoes they were selling as part of this campaign. Gimme Kisses, Gimme Wicked, Gimme Starry Skies, and just Gimme. Of course, when this aired on a children's channel, parents had issue with the campaign's underlying message that girls and women don't have to work for what they want. Instead, you put on tiny shorts and a belly shirt and you go ask daddy for money, which of course led to more questions about whether daddy is really referencing a girl's father or if daddy is short for sugar daddy. Good going, Skechers. This next stupid move comes courtesy of Umbro and their 1999 Umbro Zyklon model. Now, 1999 wasn't that long ago. We had the internet, there were internet browsers, and even a thing called Google. So a note to any of you thinking of launching a product, Google the name that you want to call it first, just in case you know. Well, Umbro forgot to do that, and after receiving backlash from the Jewish community and Jewish rights activists, they changed the name. So what's wrong with Zyklon? Well, Zyklon B was the name of a gas that the Nazis used during World War II in their Jewish detainment camps. Sheesh. Rule number 1, stay away from the Kardashians. They're like a tornado that destroys everything in their path. And rule number 2, if you're going to market a product, don't lie about its benefits. And hey look, Skechers is back, and they did just exactly that. In their ads, Skechers claimed that the toning shoes, the shape-ups, provided extra muscle strengthening. Specifically, that the shoes strengthened and toned key leg and ass muscles. Well, they didn't say ass, they said buttocks, I'm saying ass, more than regular shoes. Well, that was a lie, and Reebok had to pay $25 million in a settlement. Everyone knows how Kanye and Mark Parker aren't friends, but Shaq? Well, Shaq was the one who showed the world how to get a sneaker executive to really hate you. When Shaq was coming out of college, everyone knew he was going to be a first-round pick in the NBA, and the sneaker companies were throwing themselves and a lot of money at him. As the story goes, he planned to sign with Reebok, but he had a visit already planned with Nike. What the Nike executives weren't expecting is that he would show up to their meeting already signed to Reebok, wearing all Reebok everything, and the OG Phil Knight still hasn't forgiven him. Celebrities are like the rest of us. Sometimes they get caught wearing fakes, and it's not because they can't afford the real thing, but because they got scammed, and that's it. This next one makes the list because not only did Big Boy get caught wearing fakes, but it happened at an Atlanta sneaker convention. Now, I give him full credit though. He did admit that those were fakes, and here's a video of him explaining what happened.
This is Maurice Garner checking in, MauriceGarner.com, unannounced location, but got an announcement for y'all right quick. Got the man Big Boy in the house.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, right here, man. Yeah, man, this is the question of the day, man.
What's up?
I ordered these shoes off the internet about 10 years ago. They got me, folks. I paid $500 a piece for about 4 pair. I ain't never really perpetrating fraud on nothing, man. I like them because of the colors, but then my homeboy started hitting me and say, "Big boy got on fake J's though." I ain't even know, man. When them J's first came out, I ain't had no money to buy them shoes when they first came out, so when I got some bread, it was way after the fact. I bought me some, the freshest color ever. And I guess everybody was like, they want to get them, but I don't know. So we had a photo shoot for the vibe today, so I just went in the closet and bust some more out the box and needed. Definitely, you know, loose left foot, stain. But them shoes, man, I don't even walk, man. I drive the car, man.
Exactly.
For sure. Fuck that. Fuck the shoes, nigga. Look at the car, motherfucker. Do that.
Use your fisheye lens. Well, if there's any consolation, it's a nice picture, man.
I look at this next shoe and I thought, dope colorway, but not everybody would agree. This next pair is the Puma Speed Cat, which was made to honor the 40th anniversary of the United Arab Emirates, but they didn't like that gesture at all. You see, Puma didn't check with the local culture on how something like this would be perceived, and they didn't perceive it well. The shoe's colorway was made to mimic the UAE's flag, and the thought of wearing the flag on their feet was taken as disrespect. Only 120 pairs were made. Why the hell are the Air Jordan 12 Rising Suns on the list, right? The answer? It's the insole. The whole silhouette is loosely based on the rising sun, but when they added the rising sun print to the insole, that took things a bit too far for people in Korea and China. You see, the rising sun is a symbol that represents Japanese imperialism, and they had the belief that the Japanese were racially superior to other Asian ethnic groups. Kind of the same thought pattern Hitler had, if you see where this is going. So respect to Big Boy for admitting his were fakes, and a thumbs down to Jim Jones. He claimed to have had a sample pair of the Air Jordan 11 Ray Allen PE. He got, that's all. And after they were confirmed fake, that's all he had to say. But he didn't, and instead kept insisting they were real, and everybody who knew better were haters. Kind of sounds like some of the Instagram sellers, doesn't it? So remember, before there was an Air Jordan or Nike being the king of the basketball shoe, there was Converse. And in 2003, as they were trying to reclaim some of their past glory, they introduced the loaded weapon. Of course, there were people who complained strictly about the name and the promotion of weapons and guns, which was just stupid. But in a twist of bad luck, as Converse was trying to build their brand back up in 2003, the loaded weapon came out, and the timing sucked. At that time, former NBA All-Star Jason Williams had been charged with manslaughter in the shooting of a limo driver. Washington Wizards guard Gilbert Arenas was charged in the summer with carrying a concealed weapon, and Patrick Dennehy of Baylor had been fatally shot. Timing is everything, and theirs sucked. Some, or most of you, might be familiar with the follow-up to the Nike Roshe, the Nike Juvenate, but did you know that wasn't the name of the shoe when it launched? Nope. It was called the Nike Zenji because it had Zen-like qualities. However, when you pronounce the Zenji name in Arabic, you get a not-so-nice way of insulting people from Zanzibar. The equivalent of this word in English would be the N-word. Yeah, good going, Nike. It all ended well as Nike asked store owners to take down any branding, and they later changed the name to Juvenate. The Nike Air Bakken, however you pronounce it. In this entry, Nike shows us how to piss off 1.6 billion Muslims. Look at this picture. The picture on the left is how the shoe originally released, and the picture on the right is how it ended up after the backlash. So what's wrong with the word air? Well, apparently the text that Nike decided to use made the word air look extremely close to the Arabic writing of Allah, which was a no-no. Nike said this was a coincidence, and I guess it may have been just that, but this, I don't know, it's too close. Nike ended up recalling all pairs that hadn't been sold, destroyed them, and updated the model. How the hell the people at Adidas looked at this logo and thought that it would be perfectly okay to place it on a shoe is beyond me, but they did. This next shoe released as part of an Adi color pack in 2006. The character on the tongue, Ray Fong, seemed to play on the worst of the Asian stereotypes, and it didn't help that the shoe represented the yellow series of the Adi color pack. It doesn't matter that the designer of this shoe was Barry McGee and he was of Asian descent, or the fact that the logo was based on a photo of himself as a child. All that didn't matter. People called for a boycott, but Adidas released them anyway. The Nike Dunk Low Pro SB Black and Tan is next. The whole inspiration behind the shoe was beer, Black and Tan is a drink mixing a pale ale beer and a dark beer, but it's also a name for a violent paramilitary group that suppressed the Irish during their War of Independence in the early 20s, and they committed atrocious acts. What I want to know is there no one that works at these companies that has access to Google? What we have here is a shoe that made it from an idea to a sketch, from a sketch to a sample, and from a sample to production. Jeremy Scott is wild. He puts teddy bears on shoes, he puts wings on shoes, and he puts shackles on shoes. I don't for a second believe that Jeremy Scott's intention was to conjure up images of slavery, but if a few people sat down and thought about it, they may have had the better judgment. Let's see what Jesse Jackson had to say.
David Stern, who in turn, within a few minutes, called the Adidas and had it canceled. They canceled because they're going to call from David Stern and the threat of a real boycott.
Well, the fact is that this shoe went from an idea to a concept to an actual product before anyone thought it would be even slightly controversial. What do you make of that?
I mean, that Adidas was insensitive, and they went through the whole vetting process, and to conjure up the idea of slavery and to have so many African-American ball players is a bit much to take. And so because it is insensitive, and because it reminds me so much of the gold tooth ad that Toyota had to reject some years ago. But this is a bit far, and of course we wrote them and David Stern, and we began to contact ball players and met ministers from around the country. We were prepared for really a full-scale rejection of this.
And after all that, Adidas decided to cancel the shoe, and it never made it to retailers. And that does it for today's video, everyone. If you enjoyed it, and I hope you did, hit that like button. If you're new around here, subscribe, join the squad. If you have something to say, leave it in the comments below. And I'm out.